Hey, it's Chico, and in this video I'm going to reveal to you the markets that you have to stay away from in 2021 if you're looking to do virtual wholesaling. Now, this information here is coming from a very reliable source. It's not coming out of my, you know what? It's coming from a reliable source. I have it here. I'm going to share it with you here. I'm going to put the link in the description, and that way you can make sure that if you are going to be starting a real estate wholesaling business, and specifically you're looking to maybe start off a virtual wholesaling business, that you're working the right markets and you're avoiding the ones that are bad. If you're wondering, like, what is wholesaling? Wholesaling is where we go out and find discounted properties. We then put a contract on that property. Now we have the agreement, right? A piece of paper, not this piece of paper, but a piece of paper. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go out and find another real estate investor that's interested in that type of deal, and you're going to sell them your agreement, and they're going to go ahead and close on the property, do all that crazy stuff that real estate investors do, and you're going to get paid as a finder. That finder fee could be anywhere from a couple $1,000s to as much as I've made as much as $98,000, $95,000 on the deal. I've had students that have made, $25,000 on their first deal, and that's significant, especially if you're working a full-time job and have you're making $25,000, $30,000 a year. Imagine making your salary in one deal. And these deals could happen. I mean, you could start today in a matter of 60 to 90 days, have your first deal. One of the strategies in wholesaling is that you're going to go out into markets and find these deals, but you're not confined to your local marketplace, right? You can go out and you can find deals anywhere in the country and do this from your computer. I mean, this is my home office here. I typically, don't sit with the lights back there. I only did that for you because I want to make a good impression. But I do deals all over the country from my home office, and you can do that as well, which is a great thing, especially now with this whole, the virus thing happening. I don't want to say the virus because then YouTube will flag the video maybe. I don't know. You know how it is. So let's talk about the markets to avoid. Now, the resource that I'm giving you this from is from U-Haul. Here's the thing. U-Haul publishes migration trends. Think about this. You're moving from one state to the next. Most people rent a U-Haul. And so now U-Haul keeps a database of where are the one-way rentals coming to and from. That is like such an amazing amount of data. I'll put the links in the description here. And if you find that, Chico, that is a nugget that I have not received from anybody else, you gotta give me a like, and you gotta give me a subscribe, and you gotta give me a comment, and whatever else you can give me, okay? Give me some juice here. So this is the 2020 migration trends. There's two different ones. There is the states, and then there are the cities. Let's talk about the states that they have the most migration away from, meaning that these are states that people are moving away from. You want to be in a market where you're finding deals where there's a lot of demand. If there are people exiting that market, then you're not going to have a lot of demand. There might be people that are interested in selling the property, but when you are trying to sell that contract and that agreement, you might be struggling. Why? Because there's an exodus of people. There's less buyers. There's less demand in that area. Versus if you're in an area where people are going to, they're migrating to, they're moving to, once you find a deal, you're going to have an easier time selling that deal and the contract for that deal. Why? Because there's a demand in that area. So number one market, the number one worst market in the country is, drum roll, California. Loser. California is one of the worst markets. Why? Because everybody's leaving California. The taxes are high, there's homelessness, affordability. It's very jam-packed, and in this time, people don't want to be in a confined space, and so they're leaving California. I'll give you the top 5, and let's see if you can pick up some nuances about these top 5 states that people are leaving. California, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and Maryland are in the top 5. Top 5 places. If we go and continue, and we go to the next 5 after that, Oregon, Louisiana, Connecticut, New York, and Pennsylvania. The one thing I noticed from all these places is that they're pretty cold. They're up north, highly congested cities, very much jam-packed places, and people don't want to go there. Let's look at the top end of the list. The top end of the list are places like, Tennessee. People are moving to Tennessee. People are moving to Texas. A lot of open area in Texas. A lot of the places to move in Texas. They also like, they like firearms. They also they have good barbecue. I love a good barbecue. That's not the reason they're moving, but anyway, Texas is a good state. I like Texas. Florida, I'm in Florida. People like the warm weather. People like the sun. And Florida's a good state. No income tax in the state of Florida. You do a federal, but no state tax. Ohio. Not sure why Ohio. Ohio probably is very affordable. Arizona, warm again. Colorado. So again, Nevada is a big place. Missouri. So I would look, if you're a virtual wholesaler, look at the markets that have the most trending of people moving to those markets, and go after those, and then get away from those areas where people are moving away from, right? So that's where I would focus. All right, so let's take a look at the second report, which is the top 25 US growth cities. So in terms of where people are moving the most to, all right, they listed, here are the listings. Number 1 is Northport, Florida. Number 2 is Kissimmee, Florida. Number 3 is Port St. Lucie, Florida. There's Auburn, Alabama. There's Madison, Wisconsin. Ocala, Florida. Look at that. Florida again. Knoxville, Tennessee. Surprise, Arizona. So again, these are states that are similar to the states that I mentioned that were in the previous list, right? So the way that I would approach this, here's the way I would approach this. I would focus on the states that have the most people moving towards those states, and I would focus on virtual wholesaling in those areas. And then what I would do, here's what I would do, is I would watch another video that will pop up at the end of this video here on the left or right, and I'll put that video in the description as well, that I did that detailed secondary markets. So say, for example, that Florida is a big state. You have Miami, but Miami is a heavily contested area. There's a lot of activity, a lot of competition. So you would go into Florida, but maybe you consider some secondary markets inside of Florida that are not the big metro areas, but they're still high demand. Pick the markets that people are migrating to. We're using this report with U-Haul. Focus on those markets. But now when you go into those markets, look at the secondary markets, look at that second video to then see what are the smaller cities that you can go into that will then allow you to get away from the competition. So at the end of the day, when it comes to virtual wholesaling, why not take the easy way? The bank never cares how you got your money, how hard you work for your money. They just care that you have some. So why not target markets and areas that are in high demand because people are moving to them? And then also secondarily, then if you're going to focus on a particular, say, market or state, then target areas that are small, that are not the large geographic regions, because you're going to have an easier time. There's not going to be that much competition. There's a couple ways to approach this. Now, if you're going to target the entire state, then you're going to have to use a strategy such as pay-per-click advertising or Facebook ads for motivated sellers. Again, I teach those. I have videos that will pop up on the channel for that. I'll put them in the description as well. And so I'll put all these videos in the description. So you can use those strategies if you're going to target the whole entire state. If it's a smaller geographic region like a county, then you can maybe go out and find a list of property owners that are delinquent on their taxes, a variety of different trigger points. And I'll do another video on that to then be able to hone in and find these people. And then now you would do more focused marketing. So you might do, I'm a big fan of inbound marketing, where you do postcards or letters and you send it to these people so that they can raise their hands and reach out to you and say, yeah, I'm interested in selling my property. And so then I would do that if you're in a more confined area. So I thought that this report was really helpful. I think that this is like gold. I mean, really, really gold. Let me know what you think. On this side or this side, check it out. There's going to be a video that's going to be the next video about the research on those secondary markets. Watch that. And then it'll also guide you to watch my other videos on how to run Facebook ads for motivated sellers and some strategies on virtual wholesaling as well. I appreciate you. Let me know what you thought about this. Make a comment if you found this video helpful.